The following presentation will propose a research study discussing the motivation behind the maintenance of relationships between high school athletes with their teammates after they have left the world of high school athletics. As individuals grow in their self-identity, it is pertinent to note what aspects of life contribute to the formation of that identity. Researchers are constantly uncovering new information regarding this identity formation, yet there are blanks in how identities motivate relationships afterwards, specifically within the world of high school athletics. When analyzed in light of social identity theory, what may appear to be a simple click in high school can shape the course of an individual's future relationship. Additional research may shed light on these thoughts. We will begin with a literature review that encompasses different topics regarding this proposal, and then we will move into the hypothesis, research question, and methods of the proposed study. There are no previous studies that are all-encompassing on the topic at hand, yet research has been done that can be pieced together in order to better understand the aspects of the proposed study. This literature review discusses findings of high school friendships, identity and relationships in high school athletics, and the effect on friendship in the transition from high school to college. There have been many researchers in the fields of education, psychology, and communication that have taken the time to learn more about the relationships individuals form in high school. Friendships made within this stage of adolescent development are unique in that individuals are no longer just going through the motions of getting along with the people next to them. They are now able to choose friendships that they feel provide certain things. As high schoolers are constantly maturing and growing in who they are as individuals, the support and social interaction that these friendships include provides a positive impact on their lives. This positive impact is in turn engraved in the individual's memory. If an individual is going through a difficult situation, friendships are able to boost their self-esteem. This is largely based on what identity that friendship contributes to and how that identity is viewed by their peers. This boost of self-esteem is a result in the communication foundation that has been laid in that friendship. High schoolers feel a sense of belonging within their friend group, which promotes an element of trust and therefore self-worth. When individuals feel as though they are able to trust and be trusted in return, they place a greater appreciation on that friendship. This encourages individuals to self-disclose to their friend, investing in them even further. Within group membership, individuals highly associate themselves with the group and the characteristics that that group performs. Communication accommodation theory is mentioned in regard to group membership. These contributions from peers assist in adolescents' identity formation. This defining quality is most commonly seen in the categorization of extracurricular groupings that individuals may fall into. Specifically, high school athletes have accumulated a positive reputation, gaining status quickly based off of what students and society have deemed most important. Granted, the culture and location of the school shapes the chain of command. Students whose groupings are higher up on that chain hold more power and thus more positivity. Hollywood showcases the football players and the cheerleaders as the cool kids, but studies back that up. Whether as a response to the stereotype or a factor of tradition, athletes are more often than not the categorization that is sought after. While athletes do obtain a certain identity based on their activities, they are also more apt to use certain aspects of communication. Amongst their teammates, athletes want to remain highly respected and admired, as to not lose the identity they've gained, so they fit in, prioritizing the group. Amongst members that do this, there is a mutual respect and an even greater level of trust. Individuals may bond more when they experience a growing time together. For high school athletes, they are not only going to school and to social events, but they are also committing to a form of growth through the activity they've chosen to be associated with. Once athletes have reached the level of commitment that is needed in high school, many teammates will abide by unspoken agreements. Sports can be messy, for instance, initiations. Communication amongst athletes is often intense and assertive, creating a strong bond between teammates that often lasts. This assertiveness is not necessarily negative and is often increased based on the coach's communication styles that they communicate with the team. Research also notes that the skills that are gained through athletics are ones that have the ability to set a high schooler up for success. Not only are they learning the actual art of performing the sport, but they are accessing social skills such as commitment, loyalty to others, and the accomplishment of goals. Because of the increased positivity that high school athletes feel just based off of their membership in the group, they are more likely to enjoy those years of their life as a whole. While these skills may make high school the best years of an individual's life, a wise high school athlete will take those life skills and use them in other areas of their life as well as their future. Now, while athletes may have been blood brothers on the field, seasons do end. As individuals move from high school to college, or work or family depending on the path chosen, an adjustment must be made. With a majority of high-performing high school athletes unable to go on to play competitive sport in college, individuals who may have grown accustomed to what can be referred to as a privileged grouping may find themselves in different categories. This takes away an athlete's go-to group, leaving them unsure of where they fit in. Most athletes are ill-prepared to handle life without sports, and this forces them to restructure their lives, finding new priorities. In this time of transition, athletes will have certain expectations, not just about the activities they involve themselves in, but the relationships that those activities will result in. If individuals were satisfied with their previous group of friends, and therefore the identity that those previous friends contributed to, there will be many moments of glancing back to the past. This habit of glancing back only hampers the adjustments that are healthy in transition, specifically in regard to creating new relationships. This can be more difficult depending on the pre-college experience that individuals have had. In the case of high school athletes who are no longer in a competitive world of athletics, they are not only grieving over the loss of an activity that held their identity, but they experience what research refers to as friendsickness. This often results in college students grasping at straws to maintain those pre-college friendships. It is important to note that this has a greater chance of occurring with the greater of the intensity of the pre-college friendships. Research acknowledges that many high school athletes that go into college without the purpose of athletic performance feel a lack of accomplishment in their lives. As discussed up until this point, the complexity of a high school athlete's relationships with their teammates holds many aspects, yet the most prevalent being that sense of belonging that leads to identity formation. When taken out of that atmosphere of camaraderie, individuals may feel a loss of social identity and have to rebuild. Current research can lead individuals to assumptions regarding this concept, yet there is not research with explicit knowledge of this. So what do athletes do when the social identity is stripped from them? Do jocks always want to be jocks? Will they always be friends with other athletes? This leads us into the research question for our study. The following question will assist in answering the study's hypothesis. Do social identities formed in high school athletics motivate individuals to maintain relationships with their teammates after high school has ended? The hypothesis of this study assumes the research question answer as yes, stating, because of social identity found in high school athletics, athletes desire to maintain relationships with their teammates after high school to preserve the identity associated with those individuals. As previously mentioned, the theoretical framework for the proposed study is social identity theory, which according to Hoggs, Terry, and White claims that the group in which individuals feel as though they belong helps allow that individual to form the identity of who they actually are. Since the study is dealing with exploratory findings of interpersonal relationships, it can be labeled as qualitative. In order to retrieve the most insightful data, individual interviews will be conducted. The interview questions that will be asked will be dealing with three main topics: identity, teammates, and explanation. The first main question will be, if you were to put yourself in a group right now, what group do you say you best fit into? The second main question, how many of your high school teammates do you still keep in contact with? And the third main question will be, why are you still friends with your teammates? Researchers may add follow-up questions at their discretion. The sampling method that will be used to conduct this study is quota sampling. This simply means that the researcher has the ability to require participants to meet certain criteria. The criteria that must be met in order for individuals to participate in the proposed study are as follows: must self-identify as having been an athlete in high school, must have played sports for at least 2 years in high school, must be between the ages of 22 and 25, cannot have been involved in competitive athletics in college, and must keep in contact with at least 2 former teammates. It is important to note that this will inevitably hold bias, since the researchers are literally able to pick who they want to participate. But that bias is what will be used to ensure researchers are gaining information that will lead to more clarification on this topic. In order to best understand the information that is received in the interviews, the data will need to be decoded into one of 2 groups. The first group will contain any interview where the individual still self-identifies as an athlete, fitting into that jock group as they once did. The second group will contain the rest of the interviews, which will inevitably be of individuals who no longer identify as a jock. This gives the research team a chance to see how much identity played a role in each group's relationship maintenance, illustrating whether or not social identity theory can be used to assume positive correlation. The data should be stored at a local university, as they have the software to contain the information. This will also give the research team a location to hold the interviews, keeping the entire study tied together in a neat package. The hypothesis of this study is proven correct. Researchers will see that because of the positive memory of the identity that was formed as an athlete or jock in high school, individuals attempt to hold on to that identity through the relationships associated with it. This confirms social identity theory's role in keeping these relationships alive. Thank you.